$3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today, she's nowhere to be found.
Anything that's laced with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting, I do not have it.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that? You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I did.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Federal authorities are now uncovering alarming evidence that could directly tie Mayor Tiffany Henyard to money laundering and the exploitation of public funds, adding fuel to the mounting controversy engulfing her. Just this April, FBI agents served a subpoena at Thornton Township Hall, demanding access to Henyard's financial records, business transactions, and official paperwork linked to the controversial mayor of this Chicago suburb, the same official who boldly calls herself the super mayor. In her dual roles as mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township, Henyard is accused of diverting taxpayer dollars for personal use, including hiring a private police security team and financing extravagant trips disguised as official business. With these explosive details surfacing, the pressing question remains: could this be the smoking gun that finally puts Henyard behind bars? Let's dive into everything that's come to light so far.
Stop playing these silly games, board of trustees, and putting people out in jail.
Do what you want. But anything after this is into relationship.
I'm gonna remember this, because at the end of the day, I told you, you guys don't run it.
In a startling turn of events, federal charges have been filed against Lee Lacey, the deputy police chief and longtime confidant of the embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Since Henyard's ascent in 2021, Lacey has been her unwavering supporter, standing firmly through every wave of controversy. Now, however, Lacey faces a federal indictment for bankruptcy fraud, accused of intentionally concealing assets and income to evade a court-ordered settlement from a prior lawsuit and to mislead his creditors. His lawyer insists these charges are merely a hardball tactic aimed at pressuring Lacey to turn against Mayor Henyard, a move that only intensifies the turmoil within her already fragile administration. Throughout this crisis, Lacey has remained one of Henyard's staunchest allies, but his indictment has added fresh fuel to the political firestorm threatening her leadership. Just last week, township trustees opposing Henyard's governance style voted to place Lacey on administrative leave, yet reports reveal he has openly defied this order, continuing to report for duty against the board's directive. Many now believe Lacey could be the crucial link needed to topple Henyard's reign. Rumors swirl that he holds key information, possibly damaging proof, that could substantiate ongoing corruption allegations, especially those tied to the misuse of taxpayer funds. Should Lacey decide to cooperate, it could strike a devastating blow to Henyard's political network and confirm widespread suspicions that public money was redirected toward personal extravagances and self-serving schemes.
Dalton has been charged with bankruptcy fraud. Louis Lacey is accused of filing misleading statements in his 2019 bankruptcy case. Lacey was a close ally of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. He's actually the second top aide to Henyard to face federal bankruptcy fraud charges
in recent months. Despite mounting pressure from all sides, Lee Lacey has stood resolutely by Mayor Tiffany Henyard's side. His attorney has gone public, reinforcing this loyalty and asserting that the true goal behind the federal probe is to use Lacey as leverage in a broader scheme to bring Henyard down. According to his defense, investigators are applying calculated pressure on key township figures, hoping someone will break ranks and betray the mayor. Yet through it all, Lacey remains steadfast, a loyal guardian fiercely defending his leader. But here's where the story takes a sharp twist. New revelations suggest federal authorities may already hold damning proof linking Henyard to serious wrongdoing. If you've missed the full story, now's the time to dive in, because we're about to unravel a complex web of politics, personal grudges, and power struggles within this small but explosive township. When former Mayor Frank Zuccarelli passed away, the Thornton Township Board faced intense pressure. State election law gave them just 60 days to appoint someone to finish his term. Many expected a seasoned trustee like Joyce Washington, a former interim supervisor, or trustee Jerry Jones to step in. Other familiar names, including Assessor Cassandra Stinson, were also considered. But as is often the case in politics, nothing went as planned. In a last-minute move just minutes before the deadline, Trustee Christopher G. Gonzalez unexpectedly nominated Tiffany Henyard, a name barely mentioned in public until then. This sudden play was clearly designed to keep the decision out of voters' hands. Those present were shocked. Who was this Tiffany Henyard, and why had her name remained? In the shadows until the final hour, it soon came to light that Henyard had quietly submitted her application well before the deadline. Upon being sworn in, her first meeting was calm, and she pledged to lead with honesty and integrity. Gonzalez admitted he rushed the nomination to avoid putting the choice to township voters, banking on the deadline to force the board's unity. Henyard thanked everyone for their trust, and for a brief moment, all seemed peaceful. But beneath that calm, tension was already simmering. Whispers circulated that Henyard viewed loyalists of former Mayor Zuccarelli as threats. That quiet tension soon erupted into open conflict when one of Henyard's first acts was to fire Jessica Jones, a decision unanimously supported by the board, including Gonzalez, the very trustee who had pushed Henyard's nomination. Yet Henyard's purge didn't stop there. Her next target was Stephanie Weidman, a longtime township employee since 2002, who had risen through the ranks to become executive assistant under Zuccarelli, with hopes of becoming chief of staff. Weidman had been part of Zuccarelli's transition team and worked closely with Dr. Jerry Williams, brought in to manage operations. But under Henyard's rule, Weidman was swiftly pushed out. In a blunt meeting, she was told she was no longer part of the team. Her responsibilities were stripped away, and like others tied to the former administration, she was sidelined. Any hopes of reassignment faded quickly. The unrest didn't stop there. Rumors spread of Henyard actively harassing staff. One alarming incident involved trustee Estes Pender, who reportedly lost her temper and locked another trustee out of her office, leaving confidential files, including medical records and social security numbers, exposed to public view. The backlash was immediate, but for Henyard's administration, this was just the beginning. She pressed forward with rapid staff terminations, unleashing a flood of lawsuits that marked the dawn of one of the most tumultuous political eras in Thornton Township's history.